The Israeli military said on Monday it would begin withdrawing several thousand troops from Gaza Strip, at least temporarily, in most publicly announced reduction since start of war with Hamas. The military said that after nearly 3 months of wartime mobilization, the Israeli economy was suffering increasing losses and an end to the fighting was unlikely. Israel was considering reducing its operations, and the United States was encouraging Israel to do so more quickly as the death toll and deprivation in Gaza grew. According to local health officials, more than 20,000 people, mostly civilians, have been killed in Gaza since the start of the war, primarily from Israeli shelling. According to United Nations, half Gaza's approximately 2.2 million people are at risk of starvation due to restricted aid distribution and the inability aid workers move safely within area. Israeli military spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari emphasized that the move to discharge some soldiers does not compromise Israel's intention to continue fighting until it destroys Hamas and that the conflicts in Gaza remain intense, saying that he expects war throughout this year. Admiral Hagari stated that some units will be called back into service in 2024. He made no mention of American demands for downsizing, and Israeli officials have not declared any shift toward a more limited, targeted phase of the war in Gaza, although they have said such a transition is coming. But military analysts and U.S. officials say troop withdrawal likely signals the beginning of such a shift. But they also warn that war is nowhere near over. In the statement made by the Israeli army, it was stated that reserve soldiers in at least 2 brigades will be sent home this week and 3 brigades will be sent back for scheduled training. The brigades vary in size, up to about 4,000 soldiers, and the Israeli army does not disclose how many soldiers it has deployed in Gaza. So it is unclear how many will remain. This move is expected to significantly alleviate economic burdens and enable them to gather strength for the activities be carried out next year, the army said. Credit. Agence France Presse. Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken is expected return to Israel in early January for further talks on the war. According to U.S. officials, last week, President Biden, in a tense meeting, pressed Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu take a more surgical approach to the war, using special forces attack leaders and infrastructure of Hamas, the militant group that controls Gaza. Mr. Blinken and Mr. Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, met for about 4 hours with Ron Dermer, a senior advisor to Netanyahu, at the White House the day after Christmas. The withdrawal is a clear sign that the fight has entered a new phase, in line with what the United States wants, said retired Lt. Gen. Mark C. Schwartz, former U.S. Special Operations Command Commander, Security Coordinator for Israel and the Palestine